I ain't a minister, but I'm going to bring that word today.
Okay.
I'm going to bring that word to your Cowboys now.
I would like to officially, publicly announce I have recovered from the Monday nightmare. I am good now. I am back driving the Cowboy bandwagon, and I do still think they're going to win the NFC least. Here we go.
You must have had an intervention last night.
I did not. I had a revelation. God spoke to me.
Okay.
I cannot
you
wait
need to
to
speak
hear
to the
it.
Cowboys.
Because, guys, there is drama in Dallas. Despite leading the NFC East, trouble is brewing. At just 2-4, Cowboys players have reportedly begun to express their frustrations with coaching staff. One player reportedly said Mike McCarthy's staff is, quote, totally unprepared. And another player simply put it, they just aren't good at their jobs. Shannon, is coaching the problem with the Cowboys right now?
No, these are players making excuses, Skip. And Jery Jones is the reasons why, because he's always allowed the players to make the coach the fall guy, because he's also made the coach the fall guy. That's why he's had so many of those guys since Jimmy Johnson when they were... Go ahead.
Well, we kept Jason Garrett for like 3 decades of 8 and 8s, but go ahead.
And he was the fall guy, right? Because every time something went wrong, he never...
Not for Jerry, but for the public, you know, for Cowboy Nation.
Because when things went well, they were winning in spite of Jerry. I mean, in spite of Jason. But the moment something went wrong, he done the old 8 and 8 Jason Garrett. That's what they named him. You nicknamed him.
I did that.
Exactly. You're proud of yourself for that, Skip. But the players are disregarding their responsibility, Skip, and what are you supposed to be doing in this? Skip, coaches can teach you 2 things. They can teach you alignment. They can say, son, this is where you need to line up at. This is where I need you. I need you 8 yards. I need you in the shade. I need you in a 3 technique. I need you in a cowboy, which is a 9 technique. Or I need you in a 7. We can teach you that. Corners, we can line up outside, line up inside.
Yep.
We can teach you assignment, which is, assignment is another word for, Skip, responsibility. That's what we can teach you. Alignment, assignment, your responsibility. I can't teach you effort, Skip. I don't really like to do this, Skip. I really don't, because I think sometimes the players play hard. But I need people to take a look at this. I pulled a couple of tapes, a couple of clips. This explains why the Cowboys defense is so porous. The first one is the OBJ. Now, Skip, we commended Alton Smith. We commended him, said that he made OBJ bubble. His job is not to make OBJ bubble. His job is to contain it. Yeah. He has contained.
Sure.
His responsibility is not to make OBJ bubble. His responsibility is to contain him, which is not let him outside. What happens, Skip? He lets him outside. Now, you tell me the effort. You got 2 guys from the Cowboys, Skip, run out of bounds. You do realize OBJ has the football. And you running out of bounds does not say, okay, well, we ran out of bounds, OBJ. You run out here and meet us. Skip, the next play, look at Kenyon Drake's run. Now, there's a responsibility here. Now, all they try to do, Skip, is just try to run time out, maybe get a first down on 3rd and 4. Now, I'm going to show you the end zone copy. I'm going to let you show from the Cardinals. Look at this. Skip, get in the A-gap. You got 2 linebackers in the safety. Somebody's supposed to hit the A-gap, Skip.
What was the score at that point?
Skip, see, that's why.
31 to...
Skip.
To 10. Was it 10 yet, Skip, or 3? 31 to 3?
Skip, what did I tell you? You learn more about your players in a loss than you ever do in a win.
Q-U-I-T.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
Okay, so you can't pick apart a tape in which the defense has Q-U-I-T.
No, but I want to know, why are they Q-U-I-T? That's what I need to know. I'm going to show you one more, Skip, and then I'm going to look at this touchdown run, the touchdown pass to Christian Kirk. Now, Skip, I don't really like to get tape. But Skip, they're in the cover 1. They cover 3 single high safety. Now, they got a guy that got zoned, that got hooked to flat, and they got this guy, the guy that's running the fastest behind the guy with the ball. I got a good indication he's at fault. Now, we're going to freeze it right here. Freeze it. You see, Skip, if you get an opportunity to run that back, Skip, you got the up guy. He has hooked the flat. Worley has deep 3rd. You tell me, why in the hell are you 2 yards behind a guy that has to hook the flat when you're supposed to be in the deep 3rd?
Better question. Why is Daryl Worley on the field in the first place? Every time I look up, 28 is chasing somebody. Help me out.
Well, Skip, look, maybe they're short some DBs, but they're alive. Remember, I told you, put CD Lamb in there. You drafted him. Let CD play that, because I told you what you needed. But you didn't want to hear that. You wanted the strength of the strength. Skip, it's easy to do this. And Jery has allowed players for the longest time to abdicate their responsibility in what they should be doing and blame the head coach. It's like a guy, Skip, that's been in a relationship, he gets a divorce, and the same problems he said his previous wife had, the new wife is giving him the same problem. What about you, bro? What is your responsibility? Why is it that the same situation that was in the previous relationship has arisen again? When there's two different scenarios, we get the same thing. We got two different head coaches, two different defensive coordinators, two different line coaches, and the same problem is arising. But somehow it's the coach's responsibility. Now, Skip, I'm not saying that maybe there's a disconnect. Maybe between what the coaches are saying and the players are understanding, maybe there's a disconnect there. But let me tell you how we did it, Skip. When things were in Denver, we always installed the run game, offensive line, and everybody, the whole offense was together, and then we would break up. But sometimes, Skip, before we would okay, you had tight ends had a meeting room, the wide receivers and running backs had a meeting room. But when things weren't going well, Mike says, hold up. I need everybody to hear the same language. I need everybody to know this is what we're thinking. This is why we're calling this play. This is what, Shannon, we need you to do. 84, 80, this is what we need you to do. TD, this is what we need you to do. So come game time, Skip, I'm in okay, look here, guy. Hey, John, I'm hot. Rod, you remember you got hot. TD. Hey, that guy cheating down, you got him. So we're communicating, Skip. So something is being lost in translation. Either what the coaches are saying is not resonating, or Skip, what we call football IQ. The players just can't learn it. Whatever the problem is, it needs to get fixed. But to blame the coaches 6 weeks into the season when you see the effort that they're putting on tape, Skip, nah, I'm not going to let y'all do that, players.
Well, I'm about to second that emotion. It is time for Jery Jones to drop the mic. And I'm talking about dropping the mic, who is the defensive coordinator. It is time to fire Mike Nolan now. I have seen enough. You have seen enough. Something is very, very wrong here. This defense has allowed more points than any pro football team since the 1961 Oakland Raiders through the first 6 games. More than any since those Raiders, who went 2-12 playing their home games across the bay in San Francisco at Candlestick Park. They were horribly bad. They got run off the field every game. And this defense is on pace to even be worse than that one. 1961. Something went completely wrong here. And I did first guess this because I said, how do you go get a Mike Nolan who hasn't been a defensive coordinator since 2014 in Atlanta, and he was 2012, 13, and 14 in Atlanta, and his defenses finished in 2012 24th in yards allowed, 2013 27th in yards allowed, and 2014 dead last in yards allowed. Those were his last 3 years as a DC. And then he was out for a year. He was a linebacker coach in San Diego for a year. Then he was in New Orleans the last 3 years as a linebacker coach. It's cronyism at its worst, because once upon a time, when Mike Nolan was the head coach of the 49ers, and by the way, he was not outstanding as a head coach, because his 4 years he went as head coach of the 49ers starting in 05. He went 4-12, 7-9, 5-11, and then 2-5 the next year and got fired. So let's just keep it in perspective. You knew Mike Nolan because he did coach with your Broncos way back when.
He was there when I got there in 1990.
And his father was also on your staff, if I'm not mistaken. Wasn't Dick Nolan on the staff?
It might have been way before I got there.
It wasn't much before you got there.
But Mike was with me in Baltimore also.
Also. He had some good moments back in the 90s when he coached Dan Reeves' defense and the Giants. Okay, I give you that. And Jery Jones just raves about his football IQ. Nobody can talk ball better than Mike Nolan. They're not hearing or they're not listening. They have tuned him out. And I believe in Jane Slater's report. I know it was only a couple of guys speaking anonymously, but the flashpoint quote is, The coaches don't teach. They don't have any sense of adjusting on the fly. Okay, now, why am I so down on Mike Nolan? Because I got to tell you, I still look back at the start of the year. The odds makers had the Dallas Cowboys as the fourth best team in the NFC. So they had the fourth best odds to get to the Super Bowl out of the NFC.
Right.
Almost every prognosticator picked them to win the NFC East.
They still might.
Okay, they still might. But to Jerry's credit, he said yesterday, I'm not going to look at this as manna from heaven because we're still in first place in the East. He said, this is not a feel-good moment for me. But I thought he was between the lines, subplot. I thought what Jerry was trying to say yesterday was he was also